You probably think you know Johnny Depp, don't you? I mean, who doesn't? He's one of those actors who feels larger than life, someone whose face you've seen in countless movies, playing characters you could never forget. A quirky pirate. A soft-spoken barber with a dark side. A candy maker with a strange grin. A quiet monster with scissors for hands. Over the decades, Johnny has become one of the most iconic and fascinating figures in Hollywood. He's a chameleon, constantly disappearing into his roles, making us believe in these unforgettable characters. But here's something you may not have thought about. Something that might even surprise you a little. Even Johnny Depp, yes, that Johnny Depp, has his own heroes. People he admires. People he grew up watching, thinking to himself, wow. I wish I could do that. People whose work inspired him, whose personalities left a mark on him, quietly shaping the kind of actor, and the kind of man, he would grow up to be. It kind of makes you stop and think, doesn't it? Even someone like Johnny, who seems like he was born to be a star, started out as a kid with wide eyes, sitting in a dark movie theater somewhere, watching other legends on the big screen. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're pulling back the curtain to show you the side of Johnny Depp most people never see. The side where he's the fan. The young boy in Kentucky who sat in front of a television late at night, captivated by black and white films. The young man in Hollywood who got starstruck meeting the people he grew up idolizing. Because even the most unforgettable artists have their own unforgettable influences. So let me tell you about the 5 actors Johnny Depp loves more than anyone else. The 5 who taught him how to act, how to feel, how to create something real and lasting. The 5 who made him who he is today. And stick with me, because number 3? That one always catches people off guard. It's unexpected, and yet it explains so much once you know. So here we go. Sit back, relax. Grab your coffee. Or maybe just let yourself sink into your chair for a few minutes. This is going to be good. Alright, let's start at the beginning. When you think of Johnny Depp, you think of someone intense. Brooding. A little mysterious. And where do you think he learned that quiet, powerful presence? One name, Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando was more than just a movie star. He was a revolution. A once-in-a-generation talent who tore up the old rulebook and created something completely new. When Johnny talks about him, there's this look in his eyes, this deep respect. He's even called Brando a genius, and you can tell he really means it. They even worked together once, in Don Juan DeMarco. Johnny was still pretty young at the time, and being on set with Brando was like stepping into the presence of greatness. He's joked about how Brando could say more with a single raised eyebrow than most actors could manage with pages of dialogue. And you know what? He's not wrong. Watch Johnny in movies like Donnie Brasco or Public Enemies, the way he holds a look just a little longer than you expect. The way his silences say more than his words. That's Brando. It's subtle, but it's there. But Johnny didn't stop there. His number 4 pick is, kind of unexpected. Buster Keaton. Yes, a silent film star. A man who acted nearly 100 years ago. You might not expect someone as modern and edgy as Johnny Depp to look up to someone like that. But he does. You see, Buster Keaton was a master of physical comedy. He didn't need words to make people laugh or to make them care. Everything was in the way he moved, his timing, his expressions, his body language. Johnny once said that watching Buster Keaton taught him how to act with his whole body, not just his face. And once you know that, suddenly, so much of Johnny's work makes sense. Think about Captain Jack Sparrow. That walk. That swagger. Those ridiculous little gestures. That's all Buster Keaton, reimagined for the modern world. And that's what's so interesting about Johnny, he takes inspiration from the past, but he makes it completely his own. Now, number 3. This one surprises almost everyone. Montgomery Clift. If you've never heard of him, you're not alone. Clift wasn't as famous as Brando, and he didn't have the flashy personality of a Hollywood star. But he was hauntingly real. That's how Johnny described him once, hauntingly real. Clift was one of those rare actors who wasn't afraid to look vulnerable. To look broken. To let his flaws show through the screen. And when you think about Johnny's roles, Edward Scissorhands, for example, you can see that same quiet pain. That same kind of wounded soul. That's Montgomery Clift's influence. Right there, in every shy glance and every broken smile Johnny gives us on screen. And then we come to number 2. Vincent Price. Ah, Vincent Price, the king of gothic horror. Johnny grew up watching Vincent's movies. Those old, eerie black and white films. To him, Vincent was elegance and mystery rolled into one. And years later, when he actually got to work with him in Edward Scissorhands, it was like a dream come true. Johnny has said that filming with Vincent Price was one of the most emotional days of his life. Because Vincent wasn't just an incredible actor, he was a kind, gracious man. Even with all his fame, he treated everyone on set with warmth and respect. And that really stuck with Johnny. Finally, number 1. This is where things take a turn. Because Johnny's number 1 favorite actor isn't even an actor at all. It's Keith Richards. Yes, Keith Richards, the legendary guitarist of the Rolling Stones. Now you're probably thinking, how does that make sense? But once you know the story, it's actually kind of perfect. Johnny has said many times that Keith Richards is the coolest actor he's ever seen. And, of course, you already know that he based Captain Jack Sparrow on Keith. That swagger. That slurred speech. That devil-may-care attitude. That's all Keith. And now that you know, you can't unsee it, can you? But here's the thing. For Johnny, it was never just about acting. When people ask him about his influences, he always says it's about more than what they do on screen. It's about how they carry themselves when the cameras stop rolling. Marlon Brando taught him not to take Hollywood too seriously. To stay grounded. To keep his sense of humor even when the world feels heavy. Vincent Price taught him that no matter how famous you get, you treat people with kindness. No exceptions. And Keith Richards? Well, Keith taught him that it's okay to be different. To embrace your quirks. To live your life on your own terms, no matter what anyone else thinks. And maybe that's the most important lesson of all. Because here's the truth. Whether you're an actor, or just someone trying to figure out your own path in life, we all need people to look up to. People who show us what's possible. People who remind us it's okay to stumble sometimes, as long as you keep moving. But the key is, don't just copy them. Learn from them. Take pieces of what they've taught you. But always, make it your own. Or as Johnny once said, steal like an artist, but make it your own. So now, let me ask you something. Who's your all-time favorite actor? And did Johnny's list surprise you? I'd love to know. Really. Take a second and drop your answer in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this little journey into Johnny's inspirations, there's another video you should definitely check out. It's called The Secret Story Behind Johnny Depp's Most Iconic Roles, and I think you'll love it just as much. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the little bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into Hollywood's untold stories. Because just like Johnny's characters, there's always more than meets the eye. Thanks for spending a little time with me today. And I'll see you in the next one.